to also look at it from a different perspective, which is this quote about AI not replacing humans, is to look at a farmer, right? So a farmer, using a sickle and hand harvesting could do maybe about 5 acres in a day, right? So to do 50 acres would take 10 days. A human with a combined harvester, a farmer with a combined harvester can actually do those 50 acres in 5 hours. So reality, right, is that AI is not replacing humans, but rather humans who are able to use AI will be at a significant competitive edge over their counterparts who don't use AI. So that's really the competition, is how do you position yourself and how do you see your AI strategy respect to the other players in the market? And do you have a competitive edge because of this AI? And the productivity enhancements or productivity gains that people are seeing or expect are really between 2 to 4x. So think of your knowledge worker wage costs, right? It's $2 million. Basically, what this is telling you is the effect is like having a $4 million to $8 million, team, right? That to deliver that, or alternatively, right, that you are spending between $500,000 to $1 million to do what a normal team without AI would do with $2 million, right? So there are various ways of positioning it, but really think of it as a magnifier for this, right? So what's happened here, right, is basically what's happening with AI is that the AI today is a very small component that is being actually exploited or being utilized. As AI goes forward in the future, what's going to happen tomorrow is the AI component will continue to increase, and the human component that is required for the traditional work will reduce. But the opportunity here is as AI gets added to humans, right, works with humans, and you create this what we call hybrid workforce, which is this human augmented with AI, is that the ability to attack new areas will be significantly more than what it is currently. So a good way to think about it is, I can walk from New York to Washington, D.C., and that'll take forever. Obviously, with a car, I can do it a lot faster. What happens right now is when I fly, I've already escaped the constraints of land. If I use a spacecraft, I'm escaping all the constraints of gravity and so on. So reality, AI isn't about automation. It's really this augmentation, this new capability that you have to explore. So don't think of AI as automating. That's certainly one aspect of it, and looking at the existing task that is in a family office, but rather look at AI and what are the new capabilities similar to spacecraft, escaping gravity and new areas for exploration and discovery. Similarly, AI is going to surface these new capabilities, a little bit like the use cases that were actually demonstrated in the survey. If you look at the first graph, basically it is running the traditional AI systems, the older AI that was GPT 3.5, which was released in 2022, against a series of exams. So some of them were the bar exams, LSAT, also the medical exam, the mathematics test, and so on. So those, the black, were the original. Then as AI became better, the GPT-4, which is the purple, actually improved the percentile. And then obviously you have cloud, and then now you have GPT-4 with vision, which is the ability to actually read images as part of the textual interpretation, right? So you see most of these exams with up to GPT-4 cloud, you actually have reached the 90 percentile in most of this. So basically what we are saying is the comprehension capability of the software has increased significantly just in a few years, in the last 3-4 years. These tools have improved human reasoning, AI-based reasoning and decisioning significantly. So this is an interesting chart because not only does it show that it's improved, but it's improved over a wide area because of the training material that's been available on the internet. The second chart really looks at the economic model. So one is this software capable, is AI capable to do tasks that humans have, cognitive tasks that humans do? The second part is how do you measure it? So when steam machines or engines were introduced, people introduced the term horsepower. I guess it was more politically correct to say that you were replacing horses than humans, right? But you were measured, and obviously a lot of horses were used in the draft. But at the time, people couldn't figure out how to show this magnifier of muscle power. So today, when we introduce these tools or engines that can magnify cognitive skills, there is still a lot of discussion of what's the best way to do. And one of the methods is the amount of content that you can generate. So one of the methodologies being used is to take 1,000 words, and what is the cost to generate 1,000 words? Because most output in cognitive is charts, diagrams, it's text. So the $100 per 1,000 words has remained constant for over a century, adjusted for inflation. And in 2022 to now, it's dropped from $100 to 4 cents per 1,000 words. So think of it, $100 for 1,000 words to 4 cents, right, for the first draft. So now, obviously, post that, you've got to do editing, revision, and so on, and that usually requires human. But that explosion or reduction in cost has led to an explosion of tools that are coming out. So virtually every meeting you go in now, there's transcription, there's automatic summarization, grammar checking, everything, right? All of those capabilities are now built into the product, reflecting that economic model. So think of it this way, right? If it costs you so much to come out with an estate plan, right? How much less is it going to cost you with AI? The same thing with partnership agreements, same thing with investment due diligence and so on. Because this change in AI is fundamentally attacking the economics of cognitive tasks, right? So the next slide basically shows how we see what is going to happen in the market, right? So the light green or slightly darker green shows the human repetitive task right in the middle, the task which is traditionally ready for automation. The slightly darker green shows traditional tasks that humans can do. So traditional tasks, so we can automate a portion of that green, a portion of those tasks. So previously we used to attack the repetitive tasks, and today we can also address the cognitive tasks. So a lot of the survey results provided responses in this light and darker green area. But reality, what the market is now saying is really the change in the opportunity, very much like space travel or flight introduced, is the ability to escape the gravity pull, right, and explore new areas. Is AI is going to fundamentally change how the family office can deliver services, new type of services, new type of capabilities, new ways that the wealth owner can interact with you. And that is the light green area that we are interested in. So in these use cases, we've organized them by functions within a family office. And you could have very simple tasks like in the data feed, right, where have different kinds of documents, and whether these are what we call invoices or manager statements or capital calls and many other types of documents, investors letters or K1s. The AI software today is much more proficient in being able to read it, extract that information, contextualize it, and then put it into the appropriate family office software, in this case, Atlas 5. But it also can do a lot of other tasks, examples like generating new ideas, language translation. If you have wealth owners who are 18-year-old, just starting to receive investment reports to someone, Patrick, who is 70, right? You can contextualize all of these automatically based on the needs of those individuals. So because it's a foundational system, right? You're no longer restricted to very narrow areas. Anything that is a cognitive task requires reasoning, decisioning, generation of new content is actually addressable by EtonGPT. We'll just show you a small fraction of these shortly. Now, a big question people ask us is security, right? And so I thought sometimes, people don't like to know how sausages are made, but I think this would make sense to actually walk you through and also get an understanding, right, of how it actually operates. So the first one is look at number one. So how we approach the problem is every single family office or every single person using it, right, has this secure private instance. So it's a dedicated private instance, which is physically segregated from every other family office. So that's the first key thing, which is you have a dedicated unit. You can also supply your own private key to ensure and protect the data. The next item, if you look at number two, right? So you have the large language model, which is that AI engine that does all the thinking, right? The number two is you have your own family structure. So you have the households, you have the entities, you have the accounts, you have the portfolio, you have the related parties. All these relationships are captured in what we call the knowledge graph. That comes from the Atlas V. We mix that with the LLM, and therefore it provides context. Then we go to number 3, which is our Atlas V database, API and function. So if you want to execute, make a bill, pay a bill, pull data that's associated with an entity, aggregate information, generate a balance sheet, that you do with calling the Atlas V. Then number 4, you have the traditional relational database. And when that was introduced in the 70s, it revolutionized how we store data. We add another capability, and that's the new secret sauce, which is the vector database. The vector database takes all your text, right, whether image and also images, voice, videos, and actually stores it and makes it intelligent so that you can access, retrieve it, do comparison, summarization, many things, right, because of this vector database working with the large language model. Then 5A, 5B really talks about data. So in addition to the pre-trained data, you can also pull in your own data. And 5B, one of the big limitations of a lot of the large language models is it's current up to whatever date that the last thing was trained with, right? So with web search, what we are able to is go out and actually pull the data. So if you look at number 6 on the far right, that's the front end. And the front end is actually built into Atlas V itself, right? So intention here is it should be embedded, right? You don't have to worry about, what's the engine. In other cases, like the Power BI, you actually use the AI to interrogate. So you get a balance sheet or a roll forward chart, and you want to interrogate it. Or third, you can also fit it into your WhatsApp and other applications. So what the idea was to make the adoption of AI a lot more easier and a lot less, we call it opaque to you, how to figure out how to use it, but rather it's built into the actual activities itself.